morning. It's 7 a.m. So I've already gotten up, and obviously I've gotten up. I'm here. I've already gotten up. I have done my prayers. I have grounded myself, done my brain exercises, and boom, I'm here with you in Coffee with Shanda. And all along that journey, I still had a little boy that I put in a bubble bath, and then my nanny came up and helped me. And why am I starting Coffee with Shanda with this? Well, first of all, I get asked constantly, what's a good morning routine? And here's what I want to share with you. As entrepreneurs, I don't think there's one thing that makes everything work, but I do think a good morning routine really makes a difference as far as setting the groundwork for you to even know, what is my intention today? Do you know one of the big things that we looked at in my community of entrepreneurs here at Hardcore Business is we do checks with our coaches every week and find out what's the progress of our clients. And something that just came up this week was that our clients, even though they're getting tracked, will literally set a goal and an intention for the week or for 2 weeks. And then what happens is when they get back with their coach, they forgot. See, they don't realize that their coach is tracking, because their coaches are actually incentivized inside of Hardcore to be able to get our clients to hit their results. You know why? Because we often miss the mark. So our entrepreneurs literally were forgetting, what did I set out to do last time I talked to my coach? Because what happens is life starts to bombard you, and things like my son waking up early this morning and wanting to, cuddle in bed and all the things that I love to do as a mom. And then I diverted him to a bubble bath and, that type of stuff you can't plan. You just can't plan it. It's like, tell God your plans and watch him laugh, right? It's like life is going to happen to you no matter what. So what's a good morning routine? So first of all, my morning routine has changed. I mean, there was a time in my life that I worked really hard to figure out how to do a morning routine. I would get up at, 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's what I was trying to do to hack the system. And everybody told me I had to do that to be successful. And although I do believe that there is a value to getting up early, in my life, I don't know about your life, but in my life, I do believe that there's a value to getting up early, because at the end of the day, everything's quiet. Like I literally thought last night as I was going to bed and setting up my day for today. So there's rule number one. I actually set up my day a day before. And I look at what is it that I'm accomplishing the next day. And I also do something where this is a recent change, I have been reading Brendon Burchard's book, High Performing Habits. And I'm done now. I'm reading a book a month, so that you guys know that usually I'm the girl that it takes me like 4 months to read a book. I'm reading a book a month this year to stretch myself, because I'm trying to actually fail 19 times. So I have a book a month, and I have 2 other people that I'm doing a book a month with, so it holds me accountable. And one of those people are better than me, meaning that she can actually read a book a week. And so there's a couple different variations that I want you to pull out of this. And that is that, yes, I have a strong morning routine. Yes, it's changed. I set up my day the night before. And I also want to let you know that, this has been an evolution. It's like, I've tried everything and my morning routine has changed, and sometimes it's worked and sometimes it hasn't worked. What I'm doing right now is really working, more so than I think anything I've done. And I really contributed to Brendon Burchard's book, High Performance Habits. And by the way, I actually have never been a Brendon Burchard fan. I have not consumed any of his videos. My friend Randy Garn sent me this book, and he's like, you got to read it. And then I went and he sent me the book and the agenda. And let me share something with you. Not only is this book freaking brilliant, but the planner is brilliant with it on a couple different aspects. First of all, you get to buy the planner every single month to stay on point with the planner. So I think that's actually a smart, even business move, because the fact that it requires you to take your credit card out every single month to make a commitment to your calendar, which I believe will hold you accountable better, to be really quite honest. But something that this agenda has is it actually has your morning routine. You can see I take my calendar online, because my assistant and everybody is connected with that. And I re-put it the night before on my Brendon Burchard calendar. And it has a morning mindset, and you could really poo-poo on this and be like, what's the big deal about a morning mindset? I know I should be positive. I know I should be this. And honestly, when you start doing it, until you've read the whole book, which I don't recommend you wait to do this, but until you read the whole book, some of the things don't have the same value. Meaning that when I was reading it, like, what's one thing that what's one thing I can get excited about today is, well, that meant nothing to me when I started. You know what I mean? Like, that meant nothing to me when I started doing this agenda, because I was like, okay, well, let me think about it. But I didn't really get the value until I read the book. Now I love the actual question. So why am I sharing this with you? Because so many people start things and they never finish them. This is why a morning routine is actually powerful. So many people start things and they never finish them. And so, like, a friend of mine started his agenda and said, I gave up on the agenda really quickly because I really wasn't connected to it. Well, this is the difference between, Brendan calls it a high performer. I call it a pro or an amateur. A pro does things based on commitment, not on feelings. So you got to stop like having these conversations with yourself, like, oh, that's just how I am, or this, I know how I work. I just need this, because the world doesn't work on your plan, right? The world doesn't work on, I shouldn't say your plan, on your feelings. The world's going to keep coming at you no matter how you feel, and you've got to adjust. Like, we're about to go into an entire market right now that is nothing like we've ever seen before in our entire lives, right? So we're going into a completely different world. Our economy is changing. I believe we're going into a huge recession. And with that being said, you're going to have to change the way you do business. It can't be on like, well, I just know what I need, right? It's like, honestly, right now I'm taking things off my calendar because I really want to work this year because I know what's to come. Doing a good morning routine is powerful. However, when you get Brendan Burchard's agenda that goes with the book, you might not feel connected with it until you've absolutely read the entire book and you have a context to what it is and why he's setting this up the way he's setting it up. So for instance, I learned a long time ago that if I set my morning up, that the rest of my day works great. But something that I learned from Craig Ballantyne, the Perfect Day Formula, was that if I check my end of my day, that my gratitude and my productivity and just my happiness level raised. And by the way, I'm not the only person who's recognized this. I know a lot of high performers who have read that book, and they literally felt like, the minute they stopped doing a debrief at the end of the day, that all of a sudden their days started to get away from them. So Brendan's got everything in this agenda. Every book I've ever read's got part of it. Brendan's got everything. You've got your morning mindset. You've got your top 3 goals and priorities. You got your tasks that absolutely must be done today, which are different than your priorities, right? Your top 3 goals and priorities are different than the tasks that need to be done. Sometimes those tasks are not by you either. They're by somebody else that you need to assign. Persons I need to lead and connect with today and how to do it well. There's also a question that says, who needs me to be on my A game today? Which comes back to my whole concept about generosity, right? Like, leaders never win alone. They always help other people win. They do specific things that leave clues that they become high performers with. Something that I thought was so powerful about his book was this study on, I'm paraphrasing now, but basically, like, he said 500 high performing entrepreneurs answered a survey, and it was about, their success, not sex, their success and their failures. And what I thought was fascinating was only 7 of them blamed other people. Just think about that. Like, how many moments in your life right now are you actually blaming, like, I don't have enough support, I don't have, a supportive wife or husband, or my coach isn't giving me what I need. I know what I need more private time. Where is this? If you're hearing me right now, comment below and say, oh my God, I'm seeing myself here, right? Like, it's like, we got to unhook from these thoughts that have us be so freaking right about why we're not getting the results in our life. And we also have to stop saying, oh, that's good enough. I did way better than I did last time. That's good enough. That's a huge pattern. So many good starters and so many shitty finishers, right? So 7 people out of the 500 people blamed somebody else for their success. You know what their number one scenario was for why they started sabotaging their success in their life? These high performers It was literally a superiority mindset. And this is fascinating because you might never want to admit that you might have a mindset like this. But the minute you feel like you got it, I got it, I figured it out. I know this piece. I don't need to ask for any help on this piece. You're actually moving into a thought process based on what Brendan talks about in the high performance habits, is that you're actually moving into a mindset that is going to sabotage your success. And so what this looks like is you start saying things like, well, I already got it, versus saying, hey, Shanda, like, what could I do better? Hey, coach, what could I do better? Hey, peer, somebody that's a peer that's succeeding in around you. Like, here, this is what I normally do and I usually rock it, but what do you see that I could do better? See, a superiority thought process already has it down. I already got this. I know how to pray. I already got this. I know how to work out. I already got this. I learned how to do my online show. I already got this because I've done it a million times. And that's when you start moving yourself towards a sabotage. And I thought, I never knew that. So I literally was checking myself as I was reading. There's a whole section in the book about this where he actually lays it out. Oh, there's my doggy. Cuddles! Cuddles, no. Don't you love live streaming? Because literally you get to see everything. He really lays all of this out in the book. So I had all these aha moments reading it where I felt powerful as an entrepreneur, like I know you will when you read the book. I felt powerful as an entrepreneur because I felt like, oh, somebody gets me. There's nothing more confirming than that, to unleash energy, to rock it out. But the way he sets up his morning routine, I can say it's very rare you're ever going to see me jump on Coffee with Shanda and blow something up, especially since I'm not even a Brendan Burchard fan. I'm just going to give credit where credit's due. And that book is what I would classify as a must read for all entrepreneurs. You must read High Performing Habits or High Performance Habits. I'm a little dyslexic, so imagine me reading a book a month. So High Performance Habits, if I can read this in a month, you can read this in a month. It's completely laid out in a way that just has you not only get yourself as an entrepreneur, but do it with the agenda, right? Do it with the agenda, and then just tell yourself, I'm going to give myself 6 months. So the book is a well worth read for you, because if you're going to commit for 6 months and see how much your life changes in 6 months. I'm not perfect. Almost every day I've done morning and evening, but like yesterday, I missed the evening. I just got off a week of flex time. So I was out of my routine during my week of flex time. It'd be interesting to ask Brendan Burchard what he thinks about when I'm on vacation time or flex time. Does he still keep this agenda or not? Because I don't during my off time. So I was out of my evening routine and life got busy. I had friends come into town that are staying with me. We got to talking, and then I'm in bed. By the way, here's my night routine. I'm in bed at 8 o'clock and I'm asleep by 8:30. If I'm not, you see me online doing something, I'm being highly unproductive. But typically I'm almost always asleep by 8:30 and I'm up usually between 4:30, really about 4:30. I get up in the morning, but I've had a full, 8.5 hours of sleep or something. It's a long night of sleep. So I share this with you because I get asked this all the time. Like, should I get up and work out? So here's my debrief. Do Brendan's book and do the agenda. Then I really believe that if you control your mornings, and this is really a Craig Ballantyne thing, if you control your mornings, meaning that I put my number one priority in the morning. I don't take any appointments until 10 o'clock a.m. So I do Coffee with Shanda with you. So I guess this technically would be an appointment. I do Coffee with Shanda with you. But then after this, as soon as I turn off this video, I become a mom. I mean, literally everything stays here on the counter. I become a mom. I take my son to school. I come back. I usually go work out at 8:30 in the morning. And if I have a highly, really busy calendar, we've got big deadlines, then I move my 8:30 workout to 4:30. I always have an accountability partner. Either it's a class that I'm going to or somebody I'm going running with. I never leave myself to my own willpower. So 7 a.m. Coffee with Shanda is not just Coffee with Shanda anytime I feel like it, because then I could run the chance of missing it. So because you are here with me at 7 a.m. and you are my accountability partner to give and be generous at this time in the morning, because it's not like I'm here pitching offers, you hold me accountable to give more. So it clicks in the generosity piece, right? So I just share all of this with you because after all these years, I mean, I think about all the pain that I put myself through of getting mad at myself because I wasn't good enough or performing hard enough or whatever that was, inside me and then when I unhooked from those feelings, it was just, trying to figure out how to optimize for the last, I would say 5 years of my life. It's always funny when somebody sends me a message and says, let me help you with balance. I'm like, I take off 5.5 months a year. I don't have a balance problem. Just because you see fire in me and enthusiasm in me doesn't mean that I'm driving in masculine energy all the time. But let's be honest, raising children, anything to do with a plan is very masculine. Building businesses, as much as there's a lot of feminine people out there that like to say the feminine way of growing a business, I'm not going to say anything about that because individual people have different processes. But what I will say is that some of that is crap because you got to have your masculine and your feminine. And it's very masculine to drive a point. It's very masculine. Like, think about that. If you're like teaching or something, you're driving a point. If you're educating your children, you're driving a point. That's very masculine. But the 5.5 months a year that I'm off, I'm very feminine. Like, I love beautiful jewelry. I love to dress up. I love to go shopping. I went and got my nails done yesterday with my girlfriends. I'm super girly and I don't talk about business. I stopped talking about business at, 4 o'clock is my cutoff time, but usually it's 3 o'clock. I stopped talking about business and I have a hard line. Like, when my husband wants to talk, he would talk business with me all day long. He loves it. And it's one of the ways we connect. But if I connect with him on business all the time, I'm in a different mode. So these are all kind of all my routines that I do. I have rules in my life, like I don't talk business after 4. I have rules in my life, like I don't work on the weekends. I have rules in my life that my business stays on a Voxer app versus my cell phone. I have rules in my life that I do my biggest priority in the morning, so I control my mornings. I have rules like I have to work out 4 times a week. If I don't, then I know that things fall apart. I have rules in my life that every day I have a greens drink and a wheatgrass because my friend Perry, who shared that with me, and that became a new rule in my life. And that's been going on, I think, for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. But here's the deal. I don't depend on myself to do all of that. I do have a nanny that is also a house manager. No, she does not raise my children. See, another one's coming. I don't raise my child. She doesn't raise my child. I raise my child, but she makes his lunches. He doesn't give a heck whether or not I make his lunch or not. And so she makes his lunches. She makes sure that we have food. She is there if I need her to pick him up. But honestly, in a year, it might be 5 times an entire year that she ever has to pick him up. But she goes and gets my wheatgrass and she goes and gets my greens juice every day. And so you've got to create a team around you because you doing it all doesn't work. And I'm going to say something to you. I don't care if you like to grocery shop. I don't care. I love to wash my car. It's my connection with my dad as a little girl. Like, I love that stuff, but I don't do any of that anymore. And people might say, oh, well, you make millions of dollars a year. Who cares? You know how I made millions of dollars a year? I stopped doing those things that didn't produce money. If you need to make money, stop doing the things that don't directly produce money. So stop creating websites because they don't make money, create registration pages, stop, going to networking groups to get business, actually spend the time to build an audience or an email list and a following, and I love podcasting, by the way, but I don't know many people that make a ton of money off podcasting. So maybe put that in the strategy somewhere else. Right? And do something that right now with your energy, with your time, that directly produces a result, like learning how to have enrollment conversations, or maybe it's learning how to build a sales team around you. Maybe it's learning how to make offers. Maybe it's learning how to master a webinar. But put your energy in a day towards something that's productive and really give yourself enough time to become successful at it. When I wanted to master webinars, I now have somewhere around a 10 to a 12% close ratio off a webinar, cold traffic. What that means is that's $1 million webinar if I keep pushing more traffic through Facebook ads. So now let me share something with you. Do you know how I sucked at webinars? I sucked at them. Do you know that I did one almost every single week for a couple months? And then I spent an entire year practicing the same webinar. I didn't care if people like saw it before, or they're going to be like, oh my God, she's doing the same webinar again. You got to unhook from all those thoughts if you want to become a high performer. And you got to really give yourself enough time to stay on something, get intimate with it so that you can get great at it. The thing that I see the most with people who are talented is, first of all, the most talented people are not at the top. I see talented people who know they're great, who follow shiny distractions all the time because there's always someone in their life giving them an opportunity that sounds amazing. It's sparkly. And I'm telling you, follow your plan, follow your coach, figure out how to do things like this, and listen to people who have figured it out, and don't listen to people's opinions, and really figure out what your plan is and what is the thing that you need to master right now. Is it building a program, whatever it is? But I'm going to tell you, the morning routines, as much as I think I undervalued them for many, many years, I would say over the last 4 years of my life, definitely the last 3, I valued morning routines and made them a priority in my life. And my company has substantially grown. I actually believe that we possibly might 4X the company this year. And that's my good, trying to fail. But I really actually believe that, crazy, I actually believe we might do it. So I'm highly endorsing High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. I think a book without this agenda is you're only getting part of the story. So I recommend that you get the full effect. If you're a high performer, you want to be a high performer, we are moving into a crazy time right now in our ecosystem, in our economy. And it's global. So I'm going to recommend that you read a book like this, give yourself 6 months with it. Actually, I'm just going to check with you. Who's going to go get it? Who are my high performers out there? Just comment on the thread. Who's going to go get this book and do it alongside me? The agenda. So it's Brendon Burchard's book. I'm not getting paid on this. I don't have any links anywhere. Go to Amazon and get the book. But who's going to do this with me? Because I want to see who my high performers are. Who's going to actually make the commitment, go get the book, read the book, and then go get the agenda. Start the agenda now. Even if you don't feel like you're connected with it, when you finish reading the book, you will be completely connected with why he's laid out this agenda the way it is. But still, do it anyway until you've done the book. And then you're going to find that you start to see things soar. You're going to be a lot more grounded, a lot less emotionally triggered, a lot more clear about what's on your docker that you're focusing on so you don't get distracted. And here's to all of us crushing it together, making a huge impact in the world, getting up and doing lives when we don't want to, showing up in a way that we know who we are so that nobody can take us off point. And really, at the end of the day, here's to us growing an even more generous heart so that we can get outside from our business is about us, because it's not. It's about changing the world. Business at first sometimes is about replacing your income, but that's not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is actually when you see a hole in the market and you feel compelled to close it, and you've got to go close it. There's everything in you that cannot help but to go close it, because you're the only one who can do it. And then you look up and you see there's other people in the marketplace who see what you see, and they're not your competitors, they're your partners. And those are the people that you should be going and working with. So I'm going to end Coffee with Shanda on that. I will see you at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Please comment below. Let me know if you're going to go do Brendon Burchard's book with me. And then also, I look at the shares. I know that you like stuff like this. You want to learn more about my routines and things like that by looking at how many people actually share this post. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.